This video is brought to you by Grimble Bip's Bean Brew Emporium. The hip zip sip from Grimble Bip. Today on the 10-5 chunk challenge, we are going to be digging in the dirt. I'm Gunter, this is MiniMishaps Games. Let's get started. Our first rule for creating a world is that we're going to need to start at 0, 0. Our second rule for world generation is that 75% or 3/4 of the chunk has to be solid ground. And our last rule is the first chunk has to have at least one tree.
Question is this little tree here within 15? It is not within 15. So just barely not able to use this world.
All right, that was a bummer. I'm going to name this So Close, No Tree, and we are going to try again, and let's see if this next world is any better. So we come in, and it looks like we've got trees, and depending on which way my 0, 0 goes, it looks like it's up the mountain, so it should be solid ground. Yep. And so we are going to, we have unlimited time to explore, so let's just time lapse that part, and I'm going to run around and take a quick inventory. So it's pretty much what it looks like. It's very steep and it's full of dirt and trees, and that's what we want for today. So I think we're ready to get started in 3, 2, 1. All right, we have our 10 minutes up on the timer, and this is the gathering or the destruction phase. Essentially, since I am playing on the Switch, it means anything during this phase from the right trigger is what goes. So that means in this case I'm punching dirt, using tools to mine, killing mobs. That's all going to be in this 10-minute time chunk. I can break the trunks on the trees, and the leaves collecting doesn't count against my time. So if I'm punching the leaves, it counts against my time. But any of the leaves that break on their own, those timers don't count against my gathering time. So right now I'm sort of making a perimeter so that I don't go outside the 15s, which you certainly don't have to do that if you're doing the challenge and able to keep track. But I like to have sort of that border. And then I am going to grab these logs. And like I said, only the time spent punching counts against this timer. So I'm going to punch out all these logs so that the leaves break on their own, and I can gather those things that fall. And there's my first set of recipes. That's awesome for the first set of tools. And then I'll try and do little benchmarks like that. Since these will all be firsts, we'll get new recipes and new technologies, as it were, as we go along. But we've got our border. I also have to try and consider, with breaking stuff, trying to also break it in a shape that is usable, so that will give me more time during the build part to actually build. If I have hollowed out a cave or something like that, then all I would be building is a door on the cave. That's an example of being able to, punch, but use the punching to carve out part of the things that we'll be building. So it's not terribly bunches of different kinds of stuff for today's first day of the challenge, and that's going to be always because there's dirt and there's logs and whatever you get from the trees. We don't have tools until the second part where we can build things. So I can't make planks out of the logs. I can't make a crafting table or a furnace or any of that. once this gathering part is finished, then I will be able to run around. I can take as long during that part as I need to let the leaves break and pick up what they are going to drop, as well as if there is, mobs or animals that drop anything on their own without me engaging with them. I can pick up those as well. So if a wolf gets a hold of a chicken, then as long as I'm standing within that 15 by 15 or 16 by 16 square, I can pick up those things at any point. So anything that drops doesn't count as the timers. And then the other parts that don't count against the timers are inventory management. So the building of the chests will be against the build timer. But once the chests are in place, opening the chests, sorting the stuff in the chests, managing the inventory for the next episode, all of that's going to happen without the two timer parts. So you can manage your inventory and not have to use your build time. That's why you have unlimited exploration time before the first timer. You have unlimited planning time between your punching stage and the building stage, and then you have unlimited time at the end of the build stage to explore, pick up stuff that drop, and plan and choose which chunk you want to get next. So that's one of the nice things about that time after the build stage is then we'll look around the map and see which chunk we think that it has to be adjacent, because we have to be able to use the same space. We'll have to access next time to two chunks, this chunk plus one in one of the directions. So at the end we'll take a look at those directions as well. So I'd love to hear that you guys are trying out these challenges. So please put in the comments links to videos, or if you're wanting to try the 10-5 chunk challenge, I will put those directions in the description, as well as that first world that didn't work because the tree was 2 blocks away from our chunk. I'll put that spawn seed in the description as well, just in case you wanted to check out that world we didn't use for some reason. So we are just past the halfway mark on the timer. So I'm going to take a second here and ask if you are enjoying the video to go like and subscribe. It really helps out the channel, and I appreciate it. Thank you. So you guys will have the benefit of watching the timer. I won't actually have that when I am building and when I am gathering like this. It'll just be the timer will go off, and that will be my time. So many of the finishing touches might be left unfinished until the next time, but that'll be good because it'll give us things to plan on for the next part of the challenge. So on the second day, we can plan on fixing all of the mistakes we make on the first day, which of course there will be none, and we'll be able to jump right into that that second chunk. Although with this being on the side of a mountain like it is, having my chunks be connected to one another may be a problem. So I might have, I think I just removed my staircase to get this dirt out. Oh well, that'll be a thing I have to fix in the build time. But 10 minutes isn't a ton of time to gather, and 5 minutes is even less time for building. But if you guys see in any of the episodes things that I miss or that you want me to target for moving when we get to gain chunks in future parts of the challenge, like right down there I see that there's a red flower. That would be our first die if we got it. Right now it's just outside of the chunk, but if we pick that direction we might be able to get that flower. The water is nice in that direction, so maybe we go that route. Up the mountain is a mystery, or into the mountain I guess we could do once we have tools as well. So that'll be the first thing that we try and do in the build section is the tools. And then as far as punching and catching and things and gathering things that are outside of the chunk, I can punch or mine or attack mobs during that phase as long as my feet are within the 16 by 16 chunk. So if I want to risk some of these leaves, I could punch them outside of the area and hope they fall into me. But because we have gathered so much of that stuff, I don't think that I will need to push those limits for today. But if we ever have something, you know, a mob that is really close, and I want to try and have that access to those materials, then as long as my feet stay within the 16 by 16 chunk, then we're okay for that. Same goes on the build side. I can build actually anything that I can reach, which I believe is anything that's up to 6 cubes. As long as I can highlight a square, I can place stuff outside of the chunk as well. And that's mainly if I want to, you know, have bigger boundaries or draw connections to other chunks, divert water or lava, those kinds of activities, as long again as my feet stay within that limit. So we're coming down here into the last minute of timer. So I'm gonna kind of make sure that I am able to walk to all the different parts. That's a real danger of if you mine into a place where you can't get to and then switches to the the build time, you're stuck if you don't have those one at a time jumps for the squares. And I think that is, we've got about 10 seconds left. I can reach all these outside of my, it looks like I'm walking a little bit too far, but I'm gonna be okay because I can reach them. I could reach them from the chunk. So here's me realizing I went just past my staircase. So technically I have 2 more dirt than I probably should have for the end of my timer. But now we have unlimited time to catch all the stuff that broke. So I'm going to run around and do that real quick before the build time. Looks like I got most of the stuff. I felt I can organize my inventory. So it looks like I have 51 dirt, 56 logs, 32 saplings, 14 sticks, and 5 apples for my first chunk. I think that means we are ready for the build time. We're gonna get 5 minutes up on the clock, which will start in 3, 2, 1, and we've got 5 minutes. First things first, get that stairs that I destroyed back into place. Here's my 0, 0. All right, so I'm thinking that I'm going to want to head this way next, possibly. So I don't have any tools, I couldn't take this out, but I'm gonna have my crafting table be at 0, 0, so I can always remember where I have it. I'm gonna turn all of my logs into planks, and then I'm gonna build my crafting table. I just built 56 crafting tables. Well guys, that is a mistake, and we are going to build with crafting tables or something. Well, okay, I guess we're building with dirt. Here's a crafting table. We're gonna build a crafting table house now. That was a big whoops, but I'm sure you've all done it. Ended up with 55 crafting tables. So we are gonna have a mine shaft built out of crafting tables. Yes, that's what we're gonna do. That's a pretty decorative floor. Maybe we'll make it the floor of our first building. All right, so we are going to have our mine shaft anchor at the end of 0, 0. Here's my 0. I'm going to build my rail eventually someday on the 1, so that the 0, 0 is the border. Oops. I'm going to have these be taller, and I'm going to go up
here. Oh, that would happen to me on the first day. All right, so there is the entrance to the mine eventually. All right, so that will dig down and will eventually be underground. And so by the time it gets down to our first one, I think we will be able to block this off and be fully underground. There we go. That'll be a nice that'll be a nice Minecraft mine shaft entrance. All right, so what that does mean though is I am going to plant some of these in my 5 minutes that I do have. Hey sheep, I can't do anything about you. Well, I don't have any tools, so I can't punch you because it's not damage time, not punching time. I can build, maybe I can build a fence around you with dirt blocks. Nope. I guess I technically can't even push you. All right, but I did need to build my dirt block kind of lookout spot. So that I can pick the next direction that we want to go. 5 minutes is not a long time, although it doesn't take very long to place a brick. This would be a good tower. There you go. You got to see the first ever, probably not the first ever, mine shaft built out of crafting tables. So that was a new one for me. If it was a new one for you, I'm happy you got to share that with me today. Oh boy. All right, and that's our timer. So what that means is we are going to go up to the top of our dirt and crafting table tower here. And we are going to pick a new direction for the next episode. So I didn't build mine even tall enough to see what's that way, but we would have a new kind of tree. If we went into that chunk, we'd get birch. I didn't get any of my tools or my saplings done, so I don't have a way to make tools unless I pick a chunk that has more trees in it. So if that's the case, maybe I pick that way. All that down there looks like really good flat building stuff. Eventually we'll want to get to water. So we've got birch and oak heading that way. We can always pick this direction later, or on my next build, I could come build this tower even higher. But it looks like that way we've got birches and oaks. That way we've got, our mine is over there. So that one, we'd probably get those 3, 4, 5 trees if we did that chunk next. Here's my stairs, so I don't think we'd get that one. All right. So we're going to go, I believe that is south. I don't know if that's south. But we're going to go that way towards the sand, because that looks like another good thing to have. So we'll head that way. We'll take the next chunk that goes in this direction. And I will go down and I can reassemble my inventory again, although we already know what I have, which is no dirt, 17 more crafting tables, a whole bunch of saplings that I didn't plant. So not a very efficient start, but we got our tower built, we got our chunk and our world picked out. And that is the 10-5 chunk challenge. I would love to hear your stories if you have anything like the giant pile of crafting tables happen. We want to hear those stories, put them in the comments. Also, if you see things that I miss in looking around, picking a chunk, put that in the comments too, and maybe we can pick your chunk next time. So there's my dirt tower, decorated by crafting tables, my crafting table antenna. And here is all the beginning of a mine. Let's see, so it'll look like this. So here you go, that's why I left the one. So this will eventually, in my next phase, when I have tools, which won't be this next episode. This next episode will be another one of dirt and trees, and we'll get that flower because it's on the way to the sand. So we'll get our first flower, our first dye recipe, and we'll get, oh wait, where's my 15? Let's see what we got here. 14, 15, all right. So it looks like all the trees in this chunk we'll have to make our tools out of for the time after that. So we'll head back, if I can get over there, to a 0, 0, and we will call it for this episode. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you enjoyed, please like and subscribe, and we will see you for the next 10-5 chunk challenge. Thanks, Internet.